a dark and powerful criminal code. The whole movie brings a sense of tension, drama from start to finish, and at the same time fully expose the poverty and ruthlessness of what human nature when standing in front of the power of money. Police Dong Hyuk and My Hung Duke are two notorious local dirty scumbags, not only for eating, drinking, gambling, a girl, but also very good at taking bribes, receiving money from others to solve, determined to lie to them. However, on that day, in the area where the two of them are in charge, suddenly a murder occurred. Based on many years of experience in the profession, just glance at Dong Hyuk and My Hung Duke receive that the victim was thrown downstairs. Then, through the observation, the victim's body, they can determine that before death, the victim has suffered extremely cruel torture. If there are no surprises, between the victim and the perpetrator must definitely exist at some deep hatred. Initially, this case only needed the perpetrator give a little money to the trellis. Dong Hyuk and My Hung Duck will pass through the speakers. However, when strange, a criminal police officer belonging to the investigation team area parallel to the scene, don't say no to love, bridge to take over the case, although this person's rank is indeed higher than Dong Hyuk and My Hung Do. But the attitude of arrogance, his bossiness makes Dong Hyuk was extremely uncomfortable. Dong Hyuk immediately stepped forward, grabbed the opponent's collar. Tomorrow, My Hung Duck is rational enough to intervene, thereby avoiding a conflict. Nevertheless, this awakening is definitely impossible, swallowed so easily. So the two filmed again, returned to the place of the body. After a thorough search, they discovered a signed memory card. This is definitely a clue, important to solve the case. My Hung Duck and Dong Hyuk lap, i.e., carry the memory card. Plan to wait to see the team look up the area will be like that, when there are no clues, and fell into a dead end. However, not long after, Dong Hyuk and My Hung Duck changed their minds, because the contents of the memory card reveal an amount, a lot of information about huge cash flows. Plus, from the narration of a local guy, both of them know that the person has been substantial, is an undercover agent dispatched by the check the area installed in the gang to investigate, trace the origin of the poor money flow. With many years of experience working as a poor policeman, Dong Hyuk and My Hung Duke immediately received, this is an opportunity to chase away life. Just take advantage of the time when I don't know. Kneeling is not good, but silently, robbed of this money, they can not only live in glory, Fu Ki, for the rest of his life, and the gangs didn't dare to attack, to cause trouble for them. This is truly a one-off mission. Capital of 4 words. Therefore, the two have come up with an intention, committing a robbery. However, in order to succeed, for just the two of them it is not enough. At this moment, My Hung Duck thought of that person is Trong Kiss, a junior in the police department. Kissing is not only potential, become a poor policeman, but also admires Dong Hyuk and My Hung Duck have always wanted to join them. The most important thing is that Tran Kiss is responsible, manage the police department's arsenal. If he coordinated, got a few guns, then we'll be safer. Saying is doing. Lineup for the robbery plan have been completed. According to My Hung Duck's plan, they will proceed with the robbery while the dirty money is transported. After capturing the money, they will immediately retreat. Self-denial for conflict, not necessary to the opponent. Of course, to implement the plan, Chen Qian needed to sneak a few guns from the police department's arsenal. To demonstrate loyalty, Chen Qian took 2 shotguns. Now the weapon is ready. My Hung Duck and the last accomplices also began to take action. They drive to the outside area, gathering point where money is transported. After careful observation, the surrounding situation, the group wore masks prepared to avoid being identified. After that, My Hung Duck and the rest of the river goes straight in. 5 hands lying on the gun. Inside, gang members are busy counting money, completely unnoticed. And also, I didn't expect that someone dared to risk coming to the place to rob money, due to the fear of the power of the weapon. The gangsters have no choice but to, other than obediently obeying. So My Hung Duck and his accomplices, quickly stuffing money into a backpack, prepare to leave the scene. But at this moment, a surprise happened. This shot was completely ruined. My Hung Duck's plan, making the whole group forced to be fast, quickly find a place to hide. Gang members, when they see someone helping, immediately, he asked for the intention of counterattacking. Zhu Yuan held a sharp weapon in one hand, prepared to take this opportunity to destroy My Hung Duck's group. Seeing such a situation, My hung duck and his accomplices have no choice other than deciding relentless war. The entire gang were destroyed. Nevertheless, my hung duck and Dong Hyuk, not forgetting that there are still a person hiding in the shadows, is sneaking a shot. However, Chen Qian seemed to forgot this, thought that everything was safe, so immediately came out of hiding. Witnessing his teammates in front of him, my hung duck and Dong Hyuk, so they are extremely indignant. They should be able to identify quickly enemy location and frantically fired at the place where he was hiding. In the end, completely destroy the enemy. After that, the two brought with them the bodies of Chen kissed and left the scene. Because time is too rushed, they did not have time to clean up the scene, but only I, thinking of saving Tran Keen's life first, and then we'll come back to handle it later. However, it was this thought that led to a series of consecutive conflicts followed. Along the way, Chen Qian died because he lost too much blood. In the hearts of the two naked people, mixed emotions, while grieving the passing of a comrade, while worrying that everything may be exposed. At that time they were still calculating in their minds that perhaps it is possible to blame a bloody dispute between the Hao gangs to cover things up. But a call soon afterwards was completed, completely destroy all their illusions. It's not clear why. The police force is inherently often slow to act and always arrive at the scene last. This time, it was quickly present again, at the place where the crime occurred. They even informed Nyang Da and Dong Hyo must immediately go to the scene, because that place is under their management. However, the bad news is not just stop there. If the amount involved is only small, they might think of a way to ask for grantsu to cover up the incident. But when the two checked in the past through the amount of cash, they found that the number is up to 450 billion troops. With such a large amount of money, the thing is definitely impossible. Easy to solve, but there is no regret in this world. Two people can only do wherever or there. Even though I know that the ability to hide the case is very low, they still hope that with the role of Bob are the main managers, they may find a way to outsmart all people and cover up the truth. When the two arrived at the police station, they found out that the incident had taken place, far exceeded expectations. I don't understand why. This case shocked again to the regional investigation team, finally delivered to Captain Sung Tran of the criminal police team in charge. Dong Hyuk and my Ungduk were immediately to become a person who does things if no surprises occur. The fact that they were exposed was only is a matter of time. However, what they don't know is that because this amount is too large, even for BND is also a huge asset. To track down the culprit, Mr. Chung of BND personally took action, led a large group, dear hands and feet, directly to Korea to Tracy, find the whereabouts of the money. Their first stop are the names of the children, small items around the area where the crime occurred. Through a series of knowledge of the Dharma, BND easily knows that my Aawa, Duke and Dong Hyuk, asked, visit about this amount for a few days before the incident happened. This makes them the subject of the top confirmation. Meanwhile, at the police station, my Ongduk and related people is like sitting on a fire. After days of investigation, Captain Swong Tran and the team is quick, discovered many important issues. In particular, on the day of the crime, person in charge of management, the department's arsenal, the policeman, Tran Huan, has applied for leave, and on that same day, the arsenal has lost 2 handguns. What's even weirder is that from that day on, Tran Huan was completely upset, a little out of the world. There is no way to contact them. Too many such coincidences are obvious, is not a normal phenomenon, which certainly hides a contact somewhere behind. So, the police started investigation of Tran Huan and people who have been in contact with him. It is not clear whether it was intentional or just accidental. Captain Swong Tran again assigned this task for my own Ducks group in charge. Looking at Captain Misty Python's expression, my Odu couldn't help but wonder. Didn't know he was really. What do you think? Or if there is, what is hidden behind this decision or not? The camera is not packed to transmit the scene. Captain Swong Tran goes to a hospital, somewhere, to meet a little girl. Through the conversation between them, we know that her father, the baby, is my Oduke, Dong Shiok, who accompanied him. Realized that the captain, the Du of the Python, seems to be very familiar with my Odu. Lien asked the reason. At this time, the truth was revealed, it turned out. A long time ago, my Ong Duck used to be a member of the Cashew team area and worked directly under Captain Suong Tran Dosh. However, in an investigation, my Oduke was bribed by the enemy, stealthily destroyed all evidence that the police collected. As a result, all the effort is, for many months of Captain Swang Tran and Dong, the team dissolved into a cloud of smoke. Although Swang Tran later found out that my old Duke did so, is to earn money for medical treatment for the wife suffers from a serious illness, but such a betrayal is unforgivable. Therefore, my Ong Duke was hit. Grassroots level firearms organizations responsible for security management in a small area. This is considered the last act of mercy with Captain Swang Tran Darshi. Now, when he sees his daughter, my Ong Duck is seriously ill, requires a large amount of money for surgery. Captain Swang Tran couldn't help but doubting whether the U.S. does Duke have any of these diseases. In the face of these doubts, Dong Hyok stood next to Chi, know how to pretend to be a corn person, pretending not to understand anything. However, just left the disease. The institute has not been long. Dong Hyok was cornered by a group of people. When he woke up and looked around, realized that you are in Hile, stir-frying the gang's acupuncture points. Not far from where he is a person. Others are also dazzled on the chairs. The whole body is full of blood. Obviously endured a lot. Forms of torture. Dong Hyok immediately realized his love. The picture is very bad. But, in addition to continuing to pretend to be stupid, I have no other choice. The same gang member advises Dong Hyok on the reason. Why would he steal their money? Dong Hyok reduced the mosquito net and refused to admit it, knowing that without evidence, the other party definitely didn't dare to take action. With a police officer like me. Sure enough, Dong Hyok hit the right one. Although the same name confirms him, is the one who stole that money. But they don't have any, which actually proves that only, based on testimony from the name of the Jew soldier. Therefore, they had to release Dong Hyok. Nevertheless, perhaps to warn you, the gang killed the woman. He was tortured immediately, in front of Dong Hyok with a fatal hurdle. Witnessing that scene, Dong Hyok returned to his place of residence. But when he saw his girlfriend, that he loves, he immediately felt more relieved. After thinking about love, current hazard shape, Dong Hyok decided to take you. The girl fled far away. But to do this, it takes a number of fraud, the big money they had robbed, and to convince his girlfriend to be quiet, the mind leaves with me. Before that, he still had a mosquito net reduction, determined not to admit to robbing money. But now it is revealed all, clean for his girlfriend. Then let your girlfriend trust. Dong Hyok even led her to the place where the money is hidden. Planned to take out a part. However, upon arrival, he came across my Hung Duke again, are also sneaking up to get money. Dong Hyok immediately attacked. Relying on the advantage of age and strength, Dong Hyok quickly gained the upper hand in the conflict. The love between the two is almost complete. All ended after this match. In the end, Dong Hyok decided to fry the road with my Hung Duck. Carry a bag of money belonging to. About me leaving. My Hung Duck stood looking at the shadow of his back. The old comrade left. It is not clear what he is thinking. Not long after, Dong Hyok brought back the money. The hotel where the girlfriend is temporarily cursed. Prepare to take her out of here. However, he suddenly discovered below the guest. The hotel has a lot of police gathering. Soon after, he saw his girlfriend looking at me with frightened eyes. Immediately understood that she had betrayed and sold himself. Dong Hyok didn't have time to fight lice. He has to be quick, find a way to escape. However, the police have appointed completely radiate this place. All aisles in the building. There are people who keep them. There is no other way. Dong Hyok was forced to run back to the upper floor. Find a room that doesn't have one. People to hide. In another development. When my old Duke heard the news about the situation of Dong Hyok, he immediately ran to the hotel. Based on police status, he can easily overtake through the blockade fence. In the meantime, my old Duke listened to his colleagues that they have begun to search every room. Immediately realized that Dong Hyok was in a dangerous situation. In a moment of confusion, my old Duke ran close to the fire alarm system, pressed the alarm, and at the same time used smashing the fire alarm device, creating a fake scene as if it was attacked. Indeed, when the general alarm sounds, most of the police are collected, sucked into the scene and believe that Dong Hyok attacked my Europe, cast, and quickly fled. In times of turmoil, my old Duke found a place Dong Hyok was hiding. He handed the car key to Dong Hyok. Tell him to take advantage of the time. The situation of the siege is still. He immediately left the hotel. When the police discovered that it's too late, my old Duke accepts the burden, full responsibility, said that due to the chip, he was shocked. Hyok robbed the car and escaped. However, this case is not over. Dong Hyok escaped. This means that the crime of robbery, his funds have been confirmed. When the gang leader learned of this news, immediately realized the problem. The name of the mold before testified that there were 2 police officers involved. In the field, Hyok out. Surely his accomplices are. Myo Duke also has something to hold. Therefore, he directly called Myo Duke, asked him to return the whole set of the remaining amount. Otherwise, he won't let his family of Myo was cast in peace. Facing the threat from the gang chief, Myo Duke couldn't help but be afraid. The situation is getting worse than when Captain Stung Tran, who had long suspected him, overheard the content of the call. If there are no surprises, he will definitely take Myo to Cat. Coming before the law is a matter of sooner or later. However, the reality makes Myo cast suddenly. Captain Sung Tran is not, but did not arrest him, but also wanted to protect him. In return, the main price to be paid is that poor money. Through the conversation between the two, the truth has been revealed. It turned out that the money belonged to, about Captain Sung Tran. He passed the name of the inner hand of the tape party and discovered this poor money. So he immediately planned to rob it on the day of shipping. At that time, Sung Tran sent subordinates to the scene, but unexpectedly clashed with the group of Root. Myo Duke is conducting the robbery. Therefore, that subordinate exploded. Sneak gun kissing feet. Therefore it was cast by Myo with Val. Dong Xiao killed Captain Swollen Tran, because do not receive any news from your subordinates. So he personally came to check the situation. This has also explained the reason. Why is the scene side? This time, he reacted again. So, quickly. Currently, Captain Sung Tran has make a promise to Mai. It is believed that as long as you return the amount, everything in the past will be ignore and do not pursue anymore. In response, Myo Duke said that he need to think more and will reply after his daughter completed the surgery. However, during this time, an unexpected incident occurred again. At the hospital, Myo Duke was suddenly hit by a group of people dressed in black were attacked. Although he has a very good martial arts ability, and here and there and slew a few. But the enemy is outnumbered, even carrying daggers as weapons. In the end, Myo Duke was stabbed, seriously injured and arrested. Facing the threat from Mr. Chongbang party, Myo Duke immediately expressed his opinion, willing to return the amount. I just hope to spare my life, but things can't be that easy. Although Myo Duke wants to solve you beautifully. But when leading Mr. Chongbang, the party came to the place of hiding. Mr. Wang Hoang discovered that the bag belonged to about me has also been lost. It is clear that this money was taken away by Dong Hyok. Realize that you have been deceived. Mr. Chonggang was extremely angry, pulled out a gun intending to shoot the American, cast immediately. Just when 1,000 pounds hung by a hair, Dong Hyok suddenly appear as a god. He carries a handgun, just like a completely overwhelming god of war. The gang of people, with flesh and blood. However, due to the number of factions, the enemy is too numerous. One of the gang members, when Dong Hyok left his mind, then snatched the gun in Dong Xiao's hand, was going to finish him off on the spot. Unexpectedly, Myo picked up the gun of a gang member from behind, shooting arrows, intend to attack Dong Hyok. But it's not over yet. Captain Swong Tran, who has been secretly watching for a long time, also appeared at the place where the facade was hidden when he walked in. The battle is long over. Myo Duke was now lying on his side. There seemed to be no sign of survival. At this time, at the scene there was only one left, Captain Swong Tran and Dong Hyok, still maintaining the original conditions. Swong Tran pledges to protect. Dong Hyok was not involved, but, in return, Dong Hyok had to hand over the whole amount for him. To show good faith, Captain Swong Tran even took the initiative, called the police department, help the line. Hyok is wiped clean, crimes on the file. But as soon as Captain Swong Tran just buttoned the phone, Myo seemed to have beat suddenly and woke up. He put all his last bit of energy. Now the gun shot and killed Captain Swong Tran. Before the last few breaths, Myo instructed Dong, blame everything to get rid of all doubts. End of story. Dong Hyok was cleared of all doubts. He also quit his job as a police officer. Bring Myo's daughter, casting away from the homeland. Start a new life in another country. The film also ends here. Okay, that's all for today's video. Thank you everyone for following. Laws like secrets and registration is the biggest.
Enjoyed the video? Hit subscribe, drop a like, share with your crew, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk movies.